It felt like I was remembering favorite fictional characters. Because the one thing I thought when I finished reading the book is that this has to be made into a movie. Because for the first time, Nigerian business characters came alive in full color. They were extremely human. One of the faces that struck out to me is, and there's one short sentence, but Benga was wrong. And there's a lot of that kind of disarming honesty. Before you want to say it's a lie, you see something that makes you think this person is human. Was it difficult to get that level of honesty? True. Why did they allow you to write this book? Why did they agree to do this book? But you seem to have enjoyed writing this book. Like, I put down a number of fine sentences. For instance, talk about they might have paid billions to use VFD Group and eating acquisitions, but their biggest loss was losing their director that never was. But it seems to me like your greatest excitement was taking non-fiction and making it feel like fiction, making it feel like a narrative. So how was that process? The enjoyment that I sensed, was that the enjoyment that you felt? I don't want to translate for the guy, but the day has means is brilliant. And really the book was extremely well written. You said this in some interviews, and I thought you were exaggerating, honestly, before I read the book, but you were right. Because reading the book, it felt so familiar. So this is not just a story about the VFD innovators. It's a story about Nigeria. So you are hearing about what it means to have a side hustle. And start your business inside the conference room of your employer. Check. You understand about people who are finding business together, and one of them is doing work, and then the co-founder. But we are all co-owners. Am I your employee? You understand about living in Surulere and moving, starting a business that failed, dealing with fall, and just COVID era survivalism, bringing your wife into the business, Canada and the decisions that are made, people coming back because of the cold. Everything is so real life. It's so grounded. Did you know that you were going to be telling a parallel story of Nigeria alongside the story of this entrepreneurs? Was that always? That was the design. It was always my design. So why did you think it wasn't time to write the book? And what convinced you to go ahead with it? If you were convinced, willingly. And then to you, the follow-up question is, as you were telling this story at any point in time, did it occur to you that we're doing something very different in telling a story of greatness while in the middle of something that will become even greater? Did that come through very well? I struggled with that question. I hope you got it. So you had, if I'm correct, you had pushed back on the GAC deal. You had pushed back, you said it was a bad idea, it wasn't going to work, all of that. So you can bring you into a meeting, you all discuss it. After you give the reasons why it shouldn't work, when the team decides that it should go ahead, they now say, okay, you that didn't want to do it, you are going to be the MD of that company. Now, what does that say about the kind of camaraderie that existed? Even because I've talked a lot about the conflict, because we are human beings who like drama. But underneath it was, okay, my people were a team. We said I should do this. I don't want to do it, but I might as well go ahead. And how is that tested when all the things you were afraid of now finally happened in the business? Please, how did people decide that you can call a company Fiat? How did you take a meeting at head of this building for you to be told that this name is not going to work? And what was that like? Because I know how founders can be attached to their name. And the name meant something. Diligence, all those things. Sounds like Chizife Enterprise. What was that like? That somebody saying, look, this is your baby that you call this name. An ugly name, you need to change it. It's funny to just think back to those days and imagine how far you guys have come. What I want to ask is, how does, because of the allure, the glow of success, people might not understand the grief that it took to get here. How do you break that down to young people, some of you are in the audience, some of them are watching online, who think that you had advantages that nobody else would have had, and so because of those advantages that you got here, when you know intimately that you started from a first field business of a barbing salon and none of this was obvious from the start, how do you respond to them? How do you get them to understand what it takes